Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of Soldier Talk the podcast. I'm your host, Staff Sergeant McPherson, and on this show we discuss military topics with current and prior service members. Today I have a special guest with me. I have Sergeant Short. How you doing, Sergeant?
Good, Sergeant. Thank you for having me.
How your day going so far?
It's busy as usual, but it's good.
Okay, kind of introduce yourself to the people, let them know like where you from and stuff like that.
All right, so I'm Sergeant Short, first name Briasha. Been in the military for almost 6 years now. In October, first duty station was Fort Drum, Korea. Now I'm here at Fort Liberty. I'm a 92 Yankee. Also with doing 92 Yankee, I also manage the barracks as well. I like the Army. It's doing good for me so far, and happy to be here.
Okay, so where you say you from again, Sergeant?
So I was born in Colorado Springs, but I'm an Army brat. Both my parents were in the military, so I pretty much grew up everywhere. But I really do claim Colorado and North Carolina because I did enlist out of Havelock, North Carolina.
Okay, so you say you enlisted. I kind of want to know, like, you say you're an Army brat, so you jump from base to base?
Oh yeah. Went from Fort Carson to Hanau, Germany to Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama, and then back to Germany in 2004 in Stuttgart, and then Fort Stewart and Fort Bliss, and then back to Fort Carson to finish out my senior year, and then after that I came to live in North Carolina and Havelock for a few years before I enlisted for the Army in 2018.
Enlisted in the Army in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of tell me about like, I want to start off with like you as a school. When you was in school, like I would say like what kind of person, what kind of student was you in school? Like
I was quiet. I was very athletic though. I was on the basketball team. Played basketball from sophomore year to senior year. So that was like the highlight of my school career.
okay, far as that, so when you graduated, did you go to college or anything?
No, I didn't. I attempted, but didn't really work out. I didn't really have a plan coming out of high school, like I should have. So that's when I moved to North Carolina, and that was back in 2013. Yep. And I was working, and then I found out that life was a whole lot harder, after high school. So I was encouraged to enlist and whatnot. So that's what I did.
Okay, so I don't know if you informed the people, but your mom and dad was in the military, right?
Yes.
And like, can you tell me a little bit about like, did they retire or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Both my parents retired, and actually the year I enlisted. So in 2018, my mom was a Sergeant First Class 42 Alpha, and she did 26 years. She retired out of Fort Carson. And my dad, he was a mass sergeant. He did 29 years. And I don't know exactly his MOS. I just know it had something to do with like missile tech. So yeah, he did 29 years, and he retired out of Fort Stewart, Georgia.
Okay, so was it like growing up? So did you always want to join the military, or like how was that? Like, what made you want to make that decision?
I did not always want to join the military. Coming out of high school, but because I wasn't prepared, I wanted to go to Clark, Atlanta, but it didn't really work out. So I didn't
That's
really.
crazy because I applied to Clark Atlanta too. Like,
Oh yeah.
what happened with that?
I wasn't prepared. It was like a last minute thing. People was like, "Oh, you're not gonna go to college," and it's like, you fill out an application, but I wasn't fully prepared for it. Didn't do my research like I was supposed to, so I just just went to the workforce and just worked at McDonald's and then worked at Walmart and worked in both of them for a few years until I got burnt out and yeah, joined the military.
Okay, and joining, like, did you have a specific MOS in mind that you wanted to do? Like, cause I want to know, like, what when you went to go take the ASVAB, like, did you make what score did you have?
I scored a I scored a 47. But I did have some decent jobs lined up at the time. I could have been patient admin or supply for the medical equipment, dentist assistant, stuff of that nature. It's funny because it's all those mostly medical MOSs. I'm here at the 44th Medical Brigade now as a 92 Yankee. But my recruiter, he was a 92 Yankee. And, of course, he sold me on the job. So that's what I chose. And then, but they also said, it's really good for when you get out of the military as well, because of the experience. So that's, another big reason why I chose it too.
Okay, so I kind of want to get into when you first came into the military, right? Like, what you say you joined 2018. What year you went to basic training? It was 2018.
Yeah, October 2018, October 21st.
Okay, so kind of explain to people, like, what was the biggest culture shock? Like was it anything that stood out to you far as, like, when you realized that, okay, the military life ain't like civilian life? Like, what stood out to you the most?
So I did fail to mention I did try to go to basic in 2014. So that was my first attempt. I just didn't pass. So the second time,
you tried to go to basic training?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made it to the beginning of white phase, but I didn't pass everything like I was supposed to. So yeah, my bad. I forgot about that one. But what I learned from the first time going in the second time, it's all about teamwork, looking after each other, and don't turn on each other. And that's what I was trying to get into people's heads in basic training. Because a lot of people think, we go into basic training and, of course, you see something, say something. But if it's like nitpicking and stuff like that, don't try to, go tattletelling just to get somebody you don't like in trouble. Because guess what? It's mass punishment. And what the drills want you to realize is it's teamwork, look after each other, and also police each other up without having, other parties come in and try to get y'all together. But because, when you out there, you in the field and whatnot, that's all you got. So they're trying to build that camaraderie and teamwork and, still like a sense of family amongst each other. Instead of, having people come in and holding on to that selfish mindset. They're trying to change that mindset too. So you know how to be, a part of something bigger than yourself, like they always say. Yeah, that's one of the bigger things that I learned in there.
So teamwork.
Definitely.
Okay. So as far as teamwork, right? So now that y'all kind of got a little background about Sergeant Short, where she from and stuff like that, kind of want to get into like the topic that we was gonna be discussing. So the topic we're gonna be discussing is barracks as a soldier. So, how long have you been dealing with barracks?
Since I was a PFC at Fort Drum in 2019.
PFC since 2019. Okay, so how explain just a little briefly how you think the barracks supposed to go, sorry, because far as like in processing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when a soldier comes into the unit, they need a barracks. We always make sure they're single, E5 and under. Make sure they don't have if they do have children, that they're not in their custody, because if they are, then they can't be in the barracks. If they are married, that they choose to be a GO bachelor, and then once they choose to live in the barracks, then the command authorizes it, and they can stay in the barracks if their spouse is not here with them. In processing, they come to the unit, get their information, we prepare a room. We always, at least I do, try to, strive for cleanliness in the barracks when a soldier moves in and when a soldier moves out. So when the next person comes in, they're not given like a crappy room and whatnot. That's not fair to anybody. So we do that, and we have them sign for their room, sign for every piece of equipment in there, furniture, even down to the key. And we input their information, their DOD ID mainly, first and last name, in a program called EMH, where they keep all the roster of all the barracks soldiers and whatnot. And then, just to keep accountability, who's in what room in the barracks. So, and then after that, they make it home.
Okay, so like you were saying, so you want to make sure they annotate anything that's wrong with the room.
Oh yeah.
On
Most
the
definitely.
packet inside the packet that you give them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I had to create a packet. So I would give it to them, and they would tell me like everything that's wrong with the barracks, from the dents in the walls to the dents in the floors to a ding on the bathroom tub or something like that. Anything, just so it covers themselves for whenever they do move out the barracks, that they're not held accountable for somebody else's damage. So that's the point of that one. So.
Okay, so far as their supervisor versus the barracks manager. So is it anything specific that their supervisor is supposed to be responsible for what soldier living in the barracks?
Yes, leadership presence. They need to be checking on their soldiers. Very important, because you can easily come into the room and say a soldier is going through something, traumatic and whatnot, and you can tell most times by the state of their room. And if leadership is not going into their rooms and whatnot, kind of indicates they're not really paying attention, to them at all, really. So, and also you just want to just let them know that, you're there. Okay, you checking in. Okay, room's clean. You're not damaging nothing. You're not, throwing stuff across the room. Doing what you're supposed to do. You're not, getting in any chaos. And that's it. As a leader, you don't have to go in there and spend an hour or nothing in the room. You come in, look around, make sure everything's checked off, clean, in order, whatnot, and leave.
And then the leaders check, right?
Mm-hmm. So there is a leaders check sheet that I also implemented into the packet. So you go in there after you check your room, you just annotate who checked the room, and then the date, time, and if there are any discrepancies, like if a soldier needs to clean out their refrigerator and whatnot, if a soldier got, 20 bags of trash laying around somewhere, annotate that too. And next time you come by, make sure it's corrected, because you do want to see those corrections for yourself.
Okay, so so that's a supervisor. So what is the barracks manager? Some of the barracks manager's responsibilities.
So barracks manager, to me at least, means just providing a comfortable space for those living in the barracks, and fixing discrepancies that soldiers may come to me about. So there needs to be a work order put in. They'll let me know, and I'll put it in right away. Because as barracks managers, we do have access that maybe other folks don't have, or able to contact those who can, get things fixed that other people may not have the contact information for. So also, if they get locked out their rooms at a certain time, sometimes they got to run to the rescue. Issues in the barracks, any of all issues, we're basically like advocate for the soldiers in the barracks as well. We hear them out, their concerns and discrepancies, and we really work closely with the first sergeant as well, and to update them about discrepancies and issues and concerns in the barracks as well that the soldiers may have. Just trying to make it comfortable.
But far as the cause I'm not gonna lie, every time somebody call and say they need a key, like, you have to go.
Yeah. So what I do, I'll try to contact staff duty first. so they could uh, do what they need to do because they do have all the barracks keys and whatnot, or at least they're supposed to. So, but oftentimes I have seen discrepancies in like keeping track of keys. Like, and we have hard keys. At my previous duty stations, we had key cards, and it was easier because a master key was just one key card. And here it's every single room has their own key. So, and then because of, I'm trying to correct and, fill in the blanks when we have missing keys. So that's when I have to like come in too and have to, I don't know, make some magic happen, try to get that room open or, recover a key or whatnot. So, yeah.
So you saying that the barracks manager is responsible for getting the key if, say, a soldier get locked out? Because I'm tracking that the supervisor needs to go sign out the key from staff duty and open the door for their soldier.
So I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how it goes here. I know it's different everywhere, but usually the soldier can go to staff duty, and staff duty is supposed to escort the soldier to open their rooms. But there are times where it's probably one person on staff duty, and then that's when I would like have to come in as well and escort the soldier themselves and open up the room. Yeah.
So would, like, if it's only one person in that staff duty, then they'll have no choice but to call their supervisor, right?
So if it's like, let's say like 10 o'clock at night, supervisors living off post, soldier in the barracks locked out, I don't think they're calling the supervisor.
Oh yeah, so, but I'm saying, because I'm not used to the barracks manager usually staying in the barracks. Mm-hmm. Like, because, yeah, of course, that'll be more helpful, but, like, it's been incidents where, like, the barracks manager didn't stay in the barracks, so they got to call them, and they might stay off post, because I know this guy that I'm talking about, he stayed off post.
Oh, I've always lived in the barracks, so I don't know that side of it, not living in the barracks. I feel like if I did live in the barracks, live out posts away from the barracks, then I would do everything in my power to make sure staff duty or CQ signs 2062 the keys needed, or give them special instructions on how to get keys for certain events or whatnot, so that they're not calling me at like 12 o'clock at night for a key, So, but I'm trying to get it to that point, but like I said, there's a lot of moving pieces and trying to correct like missing keys and misplaced keys, and it's just all mixed up right now. But it's gonna get corrected so they can be self-sufficient. Yeah.
Okay, so far as that, right? So barracks manager, so you would keep track of all the work orders. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
Okay. And then you will also keep track of the work orders. You will make sure the soldiers is like checked in and checked out in EMH, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So you took the EMH class, right?
Mm-hmm. I did.
So kind of briefly explain what EMH is.
So EMH is a program created to keep track of personnel in the barracks and on every post. So I've had EMH access since Fort Drum, and you would register for the class, and it's a 1-day class, and you get your access pretty quickly. But all it is getting the soldiers' information, inputting in the system, and then you can keep track of who went in what room, who's been checked in what room, who was checked out of what room, and which barracks manager or whoever else got EMH access, who checked them in and out as well, just in case you need to do some investigating, because it's always a mix-up going on. So, but EMH does a pretty good job of tracking, like barracks capacity as well. So I know there's a program, I believe it's called CNA program, where if a barracks is 95% at capacity, then a soldier in the barracks can put in a CNA packet to their command, and they can apply to like get BAH and live off post.
And it's also it's some type of reg. I don't know what reg it is, but a soldier is allowed a certain amount of square feet per in the room, like because I went through that one time. Like I was actually they put me in some crappy barracks at one point in time, and my NCO actually did some research and was like, you allowed a certain amount of square feet. If you don't have that certain amount of square feet, you can request a CNA to live off post.
Of course, they didn't tell us that, but I'm definitely gonna do my research now because working with one of the DPW folks, they actually told me that the barracks that we're in right now is 90 square feet. So
that's inside the barracks.
It like the whole barracks. Yeah,
I'm talking about like your personal room.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might want to do like some research on that too.
Yeah.
Because like
it's small. These are actually the smallest barracks I've ever been in. So yeah, definitely.
I ain't even really think I seen it. Don't look that small though.
Compared to what I've been in, it's pretty small. So I'm gonna do some research now.
Okay, so now that we kind of broke down what versus that, right? So we're gonna move on to FMO. So kind of briefly explain to people what's FMO.
Furniture Management Warehouse or Office. So FMO is a warehouse building, and they usually have like your excess barracks furniture, or refrigerators, microwaves, and whatnot. So if you have a broken furniture, let your barracks manager know, and we'll have to get in contact with FMO so they can get it replaced for you. If it's a refrigerator, don't try to move it by yourself. Let us know so we can make an appointment with FMO, and they'll come and they pick up the refrigerator and replace it as well. Same thing with washers and dryers, but microwaves, I believe we're good to turn that in ourselves, and other items as well. But yeah, FMO is the place to be if you got something broken in your room, piece of furniture broken.
And you request that through the barracks manager?
Yes.
Okay. So DPW is basically putting in service orders, work orders. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure, I mean, soldiers can put in their own work orders and service orders too.
They can. So do have to give more training to soldiers on how to work it. Usually soldiers just tell me, and to be honest, it helps me keep a better track when I put it in. And I can make sure that soldiers aren't.
But it'll take a lot off of you if you just tell them, if you just post the number of the service order desk and they can put their own work order in, it'll take a lot more off you, and they can follow up on their own work orders.
It will.
Because there's some people like me, I'm not a big, like, if my door or something got a crack in it or something, like, it's not too much thing that'll bother me. But you got some people who gonna call DPW and put in the work order for every little thing.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I kind of prefer a lot of the work orders or requests to go through me, so I can make sure like nobody's putting in ridiculous work orders and whatnot. Because when they do, they're gonna call me. DPW's gonna call me anyway, and fuss me out. Because they have before about soldiers putting in work orders for mold, because they say it's a certain type of mold that they can just put bleach on, get rid of, and whatnot. Personally, I don't like that. I feel like mold is mold. It can still compromise the respiratory system. So, but yeah, they've called my phone and requested that soldiers stop putting in work orders for any type of mode and whatnot because they want them to work it themselves. So it's like certain stuff like that. But yeah. Also because it helps me keep track. And it so I can make sure the work orders are worked through thoroughly and completed thoroughly. And so I'm not waiting on information to come from soldiers about the work orders as well. So, yeah.
Okay. So last but not least, self-help. So are you familiar with self-help or R&U program?
So, not gonna lie, I haven't really dabbled too much in self-help. Like when I first got here, I understand like we needed to contact them for like air filters and whatnot. But before, I've never really had to go to self-help a lot. So that's not something I really have a lot of experience in, but pretty sure I will here. But yeah.
Okay, so self-help is basically a place where you go to get like the small things you need for the barracks. Like if a person punch a hole in the wall, small hole that's within, I guess, 5 or 6 inches, you can easily go to self-help and the barracks manager can fix that themselves. They don't have to put a work order or a service order in.
Okay.
And also they light bulbs, any type of light bulbs, you can just go there, pick and pick up light bulbs.
Okay.
Stuff like that, like plungers, like all the little small essential things that you might need for the barracks, they got that as self-help.
Okay. I think when I was in the EMH class, Mr. Burns here on Fort Bragg, he mentioned that there's a separate class for like R&U and like self-help and whatnot. So I'm probably going to have to check that out myself too. But yeah, because it's not all included in the EMH class. So
The one I went to was R&U, so that's the one. Yeah,
Okay.
it's self-help is R&U. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the class. They let you know about basically everything in the barracks. The fire extinguishers, telling you that you can't have like stuff covering up the smoke detectors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and all stuff like that, like telling you the different types of fire extinguishers. Just all the stuff that you might need that's in the barracks.
Okay.
So that's basically what I wanted to get at with Sergeant Short, you guys. Sergeant Short, I want to appreciate you for getting on the podcast. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys comment down below if y'all got anything that y'all want to add to the conversation. And this has been another episode of Soldier Talk the Podcast, and I'll see you guys in formation.